I'm T. Leon Ridgway at Ridgway Funeral Home, and you're watching Good Day Paris.
Hi, and welcome back to Good Day Paris. We're glad to have you here today.
Yes, we are.
I'm your host, Teri Keel.
And Angie Dodd.
Yep. Thank you for joining us today. We really enjoy coming to you each week and would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to share or discuss, please let us know, or even somebody that you'd like us to have on. Let us know by sending us an email or log on to thegooddayparis.com and let us know what and who you'd like us to bring on the show. Okay, so we're here for you and we look forward to hearing from you. Wasn't that darn little Mr. Ridgway adorable?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, he is. So I would like to mention our GoodDayParis.com site to like and subscribe. And please check out our past episodes of Good Day Paris while you're there. We've been busy having fun for the last several months, and Teri has been on her weight loss program that's really working for her. I'm so proud of you. You're doing great. And every week we can see a big difference, and it's exciting to see all her changes. So, yay, Teri. So we love having you along with us. Tell your friends and let's have some fun. And it's all so exciting. And today we have two wonderful women joining us. We have with us Susan Jones and Jessalyn Medlock. And we are looking forward to hearing from them both and have a fantastic day planned for you. So.
Yes, we really do. So
before we get started today, though, I wanted to share that God's not done with you.
No,
That's
He
what I
isn't.
want to talk about just for a little bit. I don't know if you have dealt with discouragement, feeling like that you have had a time in your life that you really had a vision for what you felt like you were supposed to do with your life, and had a good idea about what it was that was going to happen as you got older and the ministry you'd been involved in, and or as a Christian woman, just what life was going to look like as you got older, you know.
it's kind of hard to hear you with that music in my ear. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
we have beautiful music playing in our ears, I know. So the thing is, though, life happens all around us. And to us, and because of us, and through us.
That's true.
And as that happens, the road that we thought we were going down sometimes turns, and we end up going down a different path.
Right.
Sometimes it's not just a different path, but it's like everything happens at once and comes on us at once. And as that happens, you can almost get lost in life, in the stresses, in the new things that are going on, just feeling bombarded with life in general. And so I've been thinking about that because I've had a lot of new changes in my life. And some of them I brought on myself, you know, because I wanted to. But nonetheless, we have to figure out how to live in this new mess that we've made, or new place we find ourselves, or whatever, and still do the things that we feel like we're called to do, and be who we're called to be, and focus on what we are wanting to focus on. So in this situation, I had some scriptures that I was thinking of this morning, and John 15:5 is one of the scriptures that I thought of to start with. And it says that I'm the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So that's the first key, is stay connected to the vine, and Jesus is the vine. And I know I'm talking to people, to women, people, men who are Christian when I'm talking about this, but you have to stay connected to the vine in order to draw the nutrients spiritually and emotionally that you need in order to function, in order to live, thrive, grow in life in general. And so that's the first thing. And then the next thing, 1 John chapter 1, verse 7 says, "But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus, his Son, purifies us from all sin." So thinking about walking in the light as he is in the light, I'm sure if I ask you, what is it in your life that's darkness right now? What is it that you're hiding, that you don't want to let out in the light, that you don't want to let the light shine on because you don't want other people to see it? You don't want God to see it, even though he does. What is it that is keeping you from walking in the light? And whatever that is, get rid of it. That's just the best way to put it. Yeah, turn away from it and turn back to God. And that's something that I find I have to get real honest with myself a lot of times about what is it that is going on in my life that's not walking in the light and not walking in the Spirit, keeping in step with the Spirit. So I think those things are actually exciting, to think about these things and get rid of them. It's not exciting when it comes to mind and you have to deal with that. That's not the exciting part. But the exciting part is when you let it go.
That's right.
And turn it over to the Lord and find that peace and freedom. Oh my word. So, absolutely. And then just going along with that, the last scripture that came to mind for me was 2 Timothy 2:13. "If we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot disown himself." So the encouragement there is, don't feel like you have to stay stuck. If you haven't been connected to the vine because you've been doing your own thing, if you haven't been walking in the light because you have been afraid to let the light shine on your darkness, it's never too late to turn things around and to get back in step with God, because when we are his child, then he is faithful to us even when we're not faithful to him. And he's always wanting us to get that right so we can move on with life and enjoying that relationship with him and living out our purpose that he's left us here for. So God's not done with me. God's not done with you.
Boy, that is the truth. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's getting real, with yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to do. Self-discipline and looking yourself right in the mirror mm-hmm. and telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Right.
And dealing with it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but trust me, it's better to pay now than later.
Yes, it is.
That's the way I look at it, I guess. Well, we've also got a little bit of good stuff to know. And so I'm going to read our producer, Kevin's 2 cents that he shared with us. This is so great. So for today, March 9th, this is called National Slam the Scam Day.
Slam the scam. I love that.
Slam the scam. You scammers, all the scammers. Social Security actually related scams. So it's Slam the Scam Day. It's also World Kidney Day.
Woohoo! I love that. My brother-in-law had to get a kidney.
Oh, wow.
My cousin gave it to him.
Oh, my
had surgery,
goodness.
Donated a kidney. So, yay.
Good for
That's
him.
awesome.
What a blessing. Mm-hmm. That's such a blessing. When you need something, you need it.
Right.
Well, it's also National Meatball Day. Come on now, somebody was hungry.
Is that the musician or the food?
The food. I don't think it was a musician, but it could have been. I don't know. Meatloaf. It's
So
National Meatball
Kevin's
Day
calling
for
me out in my
meatloaf.
ear because I'm totally music illiterate, and I'm sure my husband's real embarrassed right now because I said meatball.
And the other one is National Crab Meat Day. So somebody was truly hungry on March 9th.
Yes, they were.
It's actually also National Barbie Doll Day. So that's pretty cool for all the little girls that collect those.
Yes.
And my favorite is National Get Over It Day.
I love it.
Get over whatever is bugging you, right? So it says, let go of those past resentments, disappointments, and hostilities over the things in your past. It's a day to just get over the minor things in life so that you and everyone else around you can live their best life. But also on this day in 1984, the movie Splash was released. Gosh, I do remember that. That was really something, Splash.
That was a good movie.
As well as Children of the Corn. Those were on opposite ends of the spectrum
Yes,
there,
they
but that was
are.
also a very interesting movie. A little weird. And also March 9th is the birthday of Raul Julia from the Addams Family, who actually passed away way back in 1994, but we're all still watching the reruns of the Addams
Yes.
Family. That's such a cute little show. And the Oscar Isaac from Star Wars turns 43 today, and Emmanuel Lewis, otherwise known as Webster, turns 51 today.
Wow.
And so all of you out there having a birthday today, happy birthday. So interesting things to know. But also, do you know your blood type? You know, that's something that I wanted to bring up on Good Things to Know because it's good to know that. You do need to know that. There's a good chance that you probably don't. At least says Quest Diagnostics. But there are compelling health reasons why you should know it, especially when it comes to your heart. Research suggests that people who have certain blood types, namely A or B, are at a higher risk to develop blood clots and to have heart attacks and strokes.
Wow.
So blood types are determined by the presence or absence of certain substances in them called antigens that can trigger an immune response if they are foreign to the body. There are 4 main blood types, A, B, O, and then the combination of AB. According to the American Red Cross. In addition to these antigens, there's a protein called the Rh factor, which can either be present in a plus or absent in a negative. That means there are 8 blood subtypes. I won't go into all those, but also Rh negative. But that's for another day. We'll talk about that another day. Types A and B are susceptible to blood clots, however, so please Google that and find out more about the von Willebrand factor. And I can say I'm a type A, and I've had a blood clot in my ankle. Isn't that weird? And I would have never even known that that was something that could happen. That's so weird. Type AB has the highest level, and in some studies, the highest risk of blood types are the ABs. So that's why you do want to know about that. Blood clots will most likely come on if you're inactive. That's very possible. That's why people laying in bed for long periods of time through illnesses may get a blood clot. So I do want you to know about that. So check that out. Types A and type AB are also linked to cholesterol issues and strokes. So please Google that more to find out about low density lipoproteins, the LDL cholesterols. So follow the American Heart Association's Life's Essential 8s, which are eating right, staying active, not smoking, getting enough sleep, and managing your weight, which is very important, I've found out, controlling your cholesterol, managing blood sugar, which is incredibly important, and managing blood pressure.
Yes.
So that may even be more important, actually, your blood pressure. So regardless of your blood type, everyone should have a heart-healthy lifestyle. How to find out about your blood type? A simple blood test at your doctor's can reveal your blood type if you're curious enough to know, or you can just go and donate blood, and then when they give you your card, yeah, that's a positive, go and donate blood. They always need blood. And regardless of what you are, they'll take your blood, and then you will instantly know what you are because they will tell you and give you a card. So, go to the Red Cross and do that today. So that's just all I had for good things to know today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what we have now, I'm actually going to let you take over and introduce our first guest because I think that's appropriate here.
That sounds good. All right.
Okay.
So I want to introduce Jessalyn Medlock. And Jessalyn is a licensed master social worker based out of Paris, Tennessee. She graduated from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville with honors and a Bachelor of Art in Psychology. She completed her Master of Science in Social Work at UTK in 2014. She has worked with children and families throughout her career in both community and school-based settings since 2014. Jessalyn specializes in helping caregivers of troubled teens keep their families connected and ensure their teens' social, emotional, mental health, educational, and physical needs are met so that their teen can grow up to be healthy, safe, and successful. So thank you for being here tonight,
yes,
Jessalyn.
welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I grew up in Big Sandy, and I graduated from Big Sandy in 2008. And then I went on to do all of these wonderful things. And I recently started a coaching business. I've got a husband and I've got 2 little kids. My daughter goes to preschool here in town. But I worked with euthologists for about 8 years, and I did intensive in-home therapy in that program. And that is one of the things that got me inspired to move into coaching, because I had originally kind of wanted to do something different, and this was an unexpected path for me.
What ages did you work with at youth villages?
The youngest child that I worked with was like 18 months old, and the oldest ones were, aging out. They were like, turned 18 while I was with them. And some of them I got to keep a little bit past 18, but not usually.
Yeah. So how did you get on this new path then?
So, I had my son, and long story short, I couldn't go back to doing in-home family therapy. It just wasn't something that was going to be feasible for me, because now I had 2 kids at home, and what was I going to do with them? And I didn't want. I wanted the flexibility to do what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to do it. So then I had kind of decided to switch gears, and so I started volunteering at Tomorrow's Hope with Miss Cheryl. Goes to my church, and she was kind enough to let me volunteer there, and I volunteer there on Tuesdays to get my clinical hours. So I'm still working towards my LCSW. Originally, I was planning on going in private practice with that.
Yeah, okay.
My licensure supervisor is Don Sims, and he runs Counseling Associates, and he was going to let me help him with that. And now I've kind of switched gears on him, so he's not super happy with me right now. But he's excited about this, just like I'm excited about it, because it's a whole different type of engagement. So when I had my son, I was looking for ways to stay home and ways to reach people and protect my time at the same time. So I ended up finding a business strategist who specializes in helping therapists pivot and use all their skills to help more people and leverage their time.
Wow.
And I'm working with her, and she's pretty much helping me figure it all out. Otherwise, I would have had to stumble through it on my own, and I didn't want to do that. So she's been a godsend, and she has helped me all the way through it, and I'm getting there slowly. I've been hardcore marketing for like a month now, and I got my first beta member today. So we're doing well so far. But coaching has always been something I've thought about doing, and it was a big part of what I did at Youth Villages, but it wasn't called coaching. It was called parenting skills. And then I also had the opportunity there to really do therapy with parents, with kids, whatever we needed I could do. But this isn't that. This is, I'm giving a parent or a caregiver, it really doesn't matter, just somebody that's got teens, I'm giving them all the tools that they need, everything that they could possibly throw at me. I've seen it, and I can tell you how to deal with it.
Yeah.
At least in terms of teenagers. Now, when you get into littler kids, I'm not as great with those, but I still know some.
Yeah.
Some, but teenagers are my specialty.
Well, but that is good because teenagers are not the specialty for a lot of people. At that time, you know,
Right.
a lot of
It's-
people are
it's
like,
a difficult
I
time,
can't
for
do this
sure.
anymore."
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's great.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
It is, yes. Bravo to you, because I have done counseling with teenagers, and it is a challenge, and everyone is so very different. And you have to really examine all of that and come up with answers for them, and they're at such a pivotal point in their life. You know.
Right, and that's really what my program is all about, because teenagers have such a hard time as it is, and they don't even deal with the same, not even close to the same issues that I even dealt with when I was in high school. And I wasn't in high school that long ago, but you know, now it's completely different, and parents are sadly really ill-equipped to deal with it, because a lot of the things that even my parents used wouldn't fly today, and doesn't. And so then you get this issue where you've got an overabundance of out-of-home placement services, like residential placements and therapy centers and all those kinds of things that are saying, like, bring your kid to us and we'll fix them. And that's not going to work. It doesn't. It never works. I don't think I've ever seen a kid come out of a out-of-home placement better for it, ever.
They seem to be more like a Band-Aid
Yes.
daycare for children, more than a actual helping.
Right, and a
know?
lot of them aren't licensed. They aren't accredited. They don't do do all of the evidence-based things, and that's the thing that I really love about what I do now, is I can really guide parents to what exactly is going to work for their child and what research shows works for their child. So if they come to me and they've got a kid struggling with A, B, and C, I can tell them exactly who they need to go see to help them figure out how they can deal with that. And that's one of the reasons when you read my little bio there, it has like all of those different needs.
Yeah.
And I tried really hard to not put those in that bio, because it's a mouthful and it's a lot of stuff to say. But like, that's really what I do. All of those things are their own little special areas that need all this little special attention.
Yes.
Now, you can plead the fifth on this, but I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Back when I was doing this, I found that, in my experience, was that a lot of the problems that the children were having were actually stemmed from the parents. And I felt that the parents needed as much, if not more, counseling and help to get the skill set, to find the answers, to understand the problems. What's your take on that? You can plead the fifth if you don't want to say.
No, I'll say because pretty much anybody who knows me has heard me say that we do get kids that truly have these big overarching diagnoses that they just can't get over. We truly do get those. But probably 80% of the kids that I run across, it's usually a pretty basic parenting issue. And we can pivot it and fix it, and it's not an issue anymore. Like, even just simple, like walking away when there's a conflict, or teaching people how to communicate, or, I mean, there's all kinds of different things you can do with families, with parents, that you can't do with kids, because you can counsel a kid all day long, but if their parents aren't supporting them, their parents don't know what's going on with them, their parents aren't supervising them, it's not going to do them any good.
Nope.
And that's the bottom line, and that's why I do this now, is because I want to work with parents that want to do things differently.
Yeah. So, what is it that, besides what you learned in school, what different things do you base the direction you go in a home on? What are you drawing from besides your education at school, your degree?
That's a
Loaded question.
complicated question. I'll try to distill it down if I can. I think when you boil it down, it's your basic golden rule. Everything that I do is based on neuroscience and neurology, and based on you treat people how you want to be treated. And 9 times out of 10, if you get a teenager that's yelling at you, they learned it from somewhere.
Right.
And I hate to be that way, but they did. They learned it.
I've had to admit that
They've learned it from somewhere, and to break that pattern, I mean, you've really got to be willing to address it and to do differently. So, yeah, and I draw on, so the golden rule, and then everything else I do is all about intention. So I want parents to parent with the intention for connection. I want everything that they do to be intended to connect with their kid. Everything that they do intended to know that kid better. Everything that they do intended to make sure that they are giving their kid what they need. Now, I'm not saying that mom and dad don't need their own stuff, because they do. And I address that in my program too. So like parents are taking care of themselves and doing the things that they need to do to be the best parent that they can be.
Right.
Because if we've got parents dealing with big issues that they aren't addressing, that can be a big part of the problem.
Right.
So with coaching, I can support in a whole lot more areas, and I'm not near as limited to what I can recommend and what I can do. So if I get a parent that's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm really upset, and I can't figure it out. With coaching, I get to coach them through that. I get to go through and say, okay, this is what you get to take to your kid, instead of me going to their kid and fixing it for them.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I like about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure that what you deal with in different families is probably specific sometimes to those families, but do you have like basic tips that you can share that are helpful for raising teenagers?
Helpful for raising teenagers. Open line of communication is essential.
Okay.
And being able to talk to your kid and know what they're saying without them having to necessarily say it. And being able to take guesses
Like mind reading.
kind of like mind reading. But so bottom line is, parents are going to know their kids the very best. So communication is key. And if your kid is going through something, if you haven't really drilled it to them that they can trust you with it, they're probably not going to come to you with it.
That is really epic right there.
Yeah.
They have got to trust you.
Yes, and that's another probably a good
it
general
probably has
tip, is like we really need to build that trust factor. So
Yeah,
basically,
at an
like
early age.
do what
Yeah.
you say you're going to do, follow through on the things that you do. That's a big one, is do what you say you're going to do.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's like number one parenting rule.
Yeah.
Do what you say
Right.
in every single instance, because even just little stuff like, oh, well, we'll go to the park today. In the grand scheme of things, that might not seem like a big deal, but if you get a pattern of
Preach
it,
to them.
eventually, mom's not going to do what she said.
Right.
I don't get to count on what mom said.
Right.
And then that becomes a big problem. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say open communication and then do what you say you're going to do are probably my two best pointers.
Yeah, children learn what they live.
Yes.
And, you know, I can even see in my own life when I was younger how I made mistakes. I don't think parents need to feel bad about making mistakes. I think they just need to own it.
Yep.
Get over it. Hey, it's get over day.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Get over
Yep.
it. And move on, and then do the best they can from that with whatever new knowledge they get.
Yes,
You know?
and that's so powerful. Like I tell my parents all the time, like, tell your kid you're doing this. Be like, hey, I've obviously not been doing this the way that you need me to do it. So I'm trying to do it better. Help me.
Yes.
And even just a kid knowing that their parent cares about them enough to try to fix it is pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed that even though I had two boys born just a couple days apart, they were worldly, two different worlds. They were so very different. And so each child hears and sees things from their own perspective, and it's so different. You can't raise all of your kids, say you have 3 or 4, you can't treat them all the same.
Right.
Each one is so individual, and I think that's the gift that a parent has to get. You know, to help that child is to connect with them. Yeah, it's good to see you nodding your head, because I've always believed that. And people just say, no, you do the same thing across the board to each one. And I'm like, no. Me and my sisters are so different.
Right.
We are like in different, literally, worlds.
Yes.
So, Yeah.
Yeah, and like the overarching concepts, yeah, they're probably the same. But another thing that is really cool about coaching is I get to, so if I teach a parent a general skill, they get to come to me after they've implemented it and be like, this is how it went. And I'll go through and help them figure out what they did good and what they did maybe not so great, and then how we can do better next time. And eventually they'll get to a point where they don't even need me to do this. And they're like, Jessalyn, I'm doing this all on my own.
Right.
Which is pretty impressive because, I mean, to go from being able to have a conversation, not talk to your kid without yelling at them, to be able to have a conversation with them about a real problem and fix it, is, I mean, it makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah. And it's hard. It's hard because the parent has to change, not just the child.
Right, and every kid's perspective is going to be different. So if you
Yes.
don't take the time to listen, like, you're never going to know what it is.
Yes. And you know, you mentioned yelling earlier. One of the hardest things to learn from my perspective is it's okay just to handle things in a calm, matter of fact way.
It is what it is. Yep.
This is what you did. This is what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Logical consequences sometimes
I'm
are
still
a
getting
good.
that. Even at my age, it's like, ay, ay, ay. You know, you do think the kids are going to get it, and then they don't, and they don't. And I think, what am I not saying that they aren't, you know, why can't they hear what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's because I'm not saying what they need to hear. And so I'm the one that has to learn, okay, how do I do this then?
Right.
So parents, please consider that. And if you need help, get in touch with this woman.
That's right.
Thank you. I hope someone does.
And I guess we have your information here that we can
Yes,
have
ma'am.
people get in touch with you. And yeah, we have it up. Parenting Solutions for Troubled Teens. Please take a picture of that with your phone or go to her Facebook group, Solutions for Parenting Troubled Teens. And you have free life training as well, don't you?
Yes, I do. So I've got a Facebook group, and I think I gave him the link to that. I think I gave Kevin the link to it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I did. I've got a Facebook group specifically for parents with troubled teens or struggling teens, however you want to put it. And I go live every single Wednesday at noon.
Oh, good.
And I do trainings on different things, and I do a poll usually on Sunday or Monday, so they get to vote on the topic. And then I've got a couple of guides in there. I think I've got one on like how to get help, self-esteem, conflict. I just made a new one, but I can't remember what the topic is.
So if they go to
Off the top of my head. Yes, my
they'll be able
Facebook.
to
It's
find
all
them.
on my
Yes,
Facebook.
okay.
And I've got
Okay.
an Instagram, and I've got a TikTok now, but it's not on there.
Okay, so TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram as well, Facebook. Great, and they can reach out to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Boy,
Please
that
do.
is so needed. That
Thank
is
you,
so
thank
needed.
you.
Well, gosh, that's great. I want to thank you for being so honest with us about this because there's just so much need for it here. My goodness, today the teens in school. I mean, people don't even want to send their children to school anymore. So you know, it's like ay. But yeah, let me go ahead and bring that up one more time so people can get that. Is there a phone number on there?
I don't have
Okay,
I've
we
got
don't
a
have-
Google Voice, but it doesn't.
Okay. All right. And well, anybody can take a picture of that with their cell phone, though. And also, I want to introduce our next guest, who is Susan Jones. But I want everybody to get that information there so they can reach out to Jessalyn. Let's see. Oh, that is your Facebook.com group right there. Solutions for Parenting Troubled Teens, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you look that up, you're going to find me.
You're going to find it. Okay.
You're going to find me.
Well, thank you for being on. I really appreciate
Thank you
that.
so much for
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
make sure you parents get on there on Wednesday when she's doing something live.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to take a moment now and introduce you to our next guest, who is Susan Jones. And I want to just read your quick bio. So she was born and raised here in Paris and attended the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And she is a co-owner at the Susan Jones PR firm and is a contract writer-photographer with TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority Natural Resources. She is also a former florist, school teacher, and server. She is a co-organizer of Paris Magazine. I love Paris Magazine. And a fun fact, Susan was the first female member in Local Future Farmers of America. That is so cool, yay! Well, you have a lot of varied talents in your background, and I just love that you're a writer. And are you a ghostwriter? I need a writer.
Well, I can be a ghostwriter.
Well, there you go,
Sure,
see?
sure. That's what we do.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know you were born here and raised here, and
Well, we were talking about just passions and things that we think that are important. And to me, there's nothing more important than Paris, Tennessee.
there you go.
It's mother's milk to me, and to a lot of other people, I feel like a real idyllic town and a great place to be and a great place to move to. I've been bowled over by the number of people that have moved to Paris during COVID, and I want to tell those folks they've made a great decision, but they also have taken on a great responsibility, because small towns take everybody, and I hope that they will jump on board, find some place to volunteer,
Yes.
find some place that needs their help, because we have a lot going on here and it doesn't happen by itself.
That's
So,
right. Oh, so much going on here. We were talking about that earlier. This is the smallest little town that gives so much. It just never stops. Every time we have a Good Day Paris show, we're finding out more and more and more about what this tiny little town, I like how you put it, it's like mother's milk to you. That's sweet. And it's just such a precious little place, and everybody is working hard here.
Yes,
A lot
and
of them
it just
over
gets better and better.
Yeah.
You know,
really
everybody
does.
just
Yeah.
does things to make it better all the time. I love it.
It really
I
does.
know.
My family kids me that I don't like to take a vacation because it actually means leaving home.
Right.
And and I love to travel, and I especially love to travel in the Tennessee Valley. But I do. I get homesick in a week, and I get back home.
Whenever you have time to do what you want to do in Paris, what is it you like to do? Where do you like to go?
Yeah.
Well, as you can tell from my TVA work, and also from I like to stay outside. So I love to kayak. I love to be on the Tennessee River, or any other river, the Buffalo or the Green, any kind of river. And I love to hike. And we have a lot of nice trails here between Paris Landing State Park, and if you just want something paved, head out to Eiffel Tower, and Land Between the Lakes. So there's lots of good hiking and great state parks in Tennessee. I'm with my husband and a couple of a friend of mine with a child. We're seeing every state park.
Nice.
That's
And,
great.
we may need to call you when that.
Right.
It's over. But yeah, it is. It's great. We're camping at everywhere, and there's 57, and I think we're on 9. So
wow.
Yeah. Because that's an issue now. Children aren't outside like we were when we were growing up, and it's showing. I think you'd probably.
Yes, isn't that the truth? My goodness, that's hard to believe because it's so much fun to be out there. I used to love to go out there, and I always knew the minute that it starts getting dark in the house. Of course, you wanted to do that anyway. The mosquitoes would eat you alive, so you wanted to go in, But yeah, I mean, I wish kids would get back out. We did a whole lot of nothing and had a riot.
Exactly. Well, the state parks are great. They have a lot of, just down at Paris Landing, just as close as we are to them, they have a lot of activities going on. I think the best kept secret in Paris and Henry County is our Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge.
Oh, yes. Yes.
They have lots of activities. They've got lots of walking trails. I'm crazy about that place. The visitor center down there is like,
been there.
Isn't it the best?
Hummingbird banding.
Oh, their hummingbird banding is
cool.
the best. I mean, it's
It's
just
so fun. You can hold them.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, those are the things that make Paris and Henry County is so special because to have something like the refuge in your hometown and the park, and TVA has lots of different areas you can go on our website and see things that are going on, and it's wildflower time up in East Tennessee.
Oh my gosh!
And we have our own wildflowers here, but we were talking earlier about partnerships, and I think in Paris that is such a huge thing. People are not afraid to partner; they're anxious to partner. And I was thinking about the fish fry, and fish fry and TVA and all the different things that. TVA has a big aquarium. It's as big as this area right here. It's huge. And Terry Wimberly at the local Board of Public Utilities wanted that aquarium to come here. It travels, and so they're making that come together, and that it'll be part of the world's biggest fish fry, right out, right near between, I guess, maybe the carnival and where you eat fish. And you can go up and talk to our aquatic biologists, and so that kind of partnering is huge because you want that kind of attraction, that fish tank, to be in a place that's going to see lots of people. So I'm just all about that.
It's just beautiful here too. Yeah, I just love the new lodge out there. Oh my gosh, we were talking about the views. That's stunning out there. It's just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's a gift to this community. It really is.
It is.
The lake is number one. That's our best tourist attraction. That's our biggest tourist attraction. Number two is downtown.
Oh, downtown.
We were talking about our downtown clothes.
I know.
That's right.
And downtown Paris is just covered up in cool boutiques and gift shops and flower shops and all kinds of wonderful things.
Yes.
So we're well blessed in this community.
Yes,
and
we
speaking
are.
of that, we were talking about how some people don't know that you're not a part of Jack Jones now. You were a florist with that. Your family had initially purchased that. Or built that, or whatever. Built it.
That was Daddy's
yeah,
place.
and we heard about you painting it and the outside. That was very cute.
Yeah, tell us how Jack Jones got started. How did he get started doing that?
He grew up over in Tresvent, Tennessee, and my mother was from Erin, Tennessee, and they met in school in Nashville. And Daddy was at Vanderbilt, and Mama was at George Peabody College for Teachers. She was an educator, and she saw him scooping ice cream in the student union and said, he's mine. And the rest is history. But he was a teacher, an administrator. He had a degree, but what he really wanted to do was design and have his own business. So he was able to do that. Not before, but he grew up. He grew up very close to his grandmother, and she had a huge flower garden, and she was an artist, and so I think he really absorbed a lot of that. And he was an artist. He painted also, and just had great taste. So the flower shop was. I grew up uptown. And so it was a great place to grow up.
I bet.
Yes.
I can't even imagine. Be really cool to be small town, especially this small town. It's just really adorable down there. And Shannon McFarland keeps putting up pictures all the time on Facebook. I just fall in love with those pictures. And all the people in them, as old as those pictures are, they're all smiling, they're happy. Usually you see pictures and they're so stoic and but these are real people, family photos. Yeah. It's awesome.
And the great thing to remember about a lot of Shannon's photos, that square, but for the businesses and the electricity has not changed that much.
No, it really
you
hasn't.
can look at those old photos and pick them out just like that today.
I know.
Which I think is really fun.
Yes, yes, it is.
Can we just talk about the Downtown Paris Association? I mean, that is it's such a great organization. It's been going. When I was a little girl in the flower shop, the Downtown Paris Association was a thing, and the merchants were, really working hard to get people down. So it's a long-standing group.
How does that work? Yeah.
Kathy Ray took it to the next level when she became the executive director. Kathy Ray takes everything to the next level. She is so fantastic.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, And so that was when she was the executive director. That's when the city wanted to bring in, help make Paris a Main Street community. And people, well, do we need to be a Main Street community? Well, Main Street comes with money.
Yeah.
And it comes with grants, and none of that was allowed to lie fallow under the city and Kathy, and so that's when all the murals started.
Yes. Oh my goodness,
Jane
they're
Barr's done one of
wonderful.
those. Dan Knowles has done a ton of them. They're
Dan,
so
what a
beautiful.
blessing.
Oh,
Oh
tell
my
me,
gosh.
tell me about it.
What does it mean to be a Main Street community?
Well, Main Street communities are throughout the state and really throughout the country. But
Okay.
in Tennessee, a Tennessee Main Street community has to hit certain marks
Okay.
before they are considered a Main Street community. And then I don't want to get in the weeds because I don't know so much about the weeds
Right.
with Main Street. But it is very much connected to money and making sure that your town is uplifted. It's the state's way of helping you uplift your town and keeping you at a certain bar.
Okay.
So we've been able to do that. Yeah.
And then you got involved with the Paris magazine. You're a co-founder of that. Tell me about that. I love that magazine.
Well, I'm glad you do.
I do. I think
it is-
everybody does.
Yeah, the pictures are great. Yes.
I know it.
Shannon writes for that magazine. There are a lot of people that
Yes.
write for that magazine. It belongs now to the Parkers and Parker Publishing. But when I moved, after I got out of the flower business, I started a PR company with my friend Art and Ellen. For those folks who remember Art and Ellen, he was a wonderful gentleman and knew more about PR than most people will ever know. But we wrote mostly automotive. We were in the automotive aftermarket, and we wrote a lot for them. And Art wanted to do something for Paris. He was a transplant. He had come down from Detroit, and he was born in Pennsylvania. And he wanted to do. He retired down here, sort of. He never sat down, but he wanted to do something special for Paris. And so we started Paris Magazine. Actually, sort of on the copied Murray Life was a magazine that was in business. Our dear friend Bob Valentine had that, and so we sort of got a lot of our information from him.
Oh, Murray, Kentucky? Okay.
So that's kind of the way that all worked out. But Art, if I can talk about him, and he is no longer with us, but he was a delightful man. It was Art's idea to have, he called one day and he said, "What do you think about this?" And you never knew what to expect. And he said, "What if we have a Paris summit?" And I said, "That's great. Who's going to come?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Everybody who is from a town called Paris." And I said, "That sounds great. How many are there?" "Well," he said, "I was just at the library." Art was a big library supporter, and everybody should be. And he
Doing due diligence.
Yeah, he said, "Well, there's 21."
21.
I said, "Really? 21?" And he said, "So what if we invited them all to come to Paris and we looked at how we use our names, to promote our towns?"
Right.
I said, "I think that's brilliant." So at that time, May Woody Winchester was at the chamber, and she loved it. May's always game for something great, and so we had this big summit. After it was, and we had 13 Parises that came, and we took them on the river, and we had conversations about how to do that. So after that was over, Art wrote our follow-up press release and sent it out. And the Commercial Appeal printed it. The brothers at Christian Brothers University saw it. They have a great architecture group there, and every year they build something different on campus. Well, that year was the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
But at the end, they have to tear it down. So they said, "Would y'all like to come get this?" And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, called Mr. Virgil Wall at the chamber, and he said, or at the, I guess he was probably within the industrial board, and he said, "Yeah, but we're not really clear how we're going to do that." Again, partnerships, as I recall, Dana Corporation
There you go.
had a semi. And they went down there and tore it down and brought it back.
Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah. And then the Jacksons have rebuilt it more than once. It's
work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but now we're known for it. So.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Everybody says that when I put it up. I put it up frequently because I'm pretty proud of this little town. And since it's my new home,
Right.
I put it up and everybody, you have an Eiffel Tower? And I'm like, yes. And it changes color, and we do all these different things. And there's a park with trails down there, and it's really a draw. People actually say, well, we're looking forward to coming in November, or we're going to be there in October, because they want to come up and see the change of the leaves and everything. I'm from Florida. You don't have change of leaves in Florida. You have green 24/7.
Don't you love the seasons now that you're here?
I do love this. I'm not a fan of winter, but I love autumn, spring, and summer. I love those.
You'll have to come over and see our botanical garden over in the Atkins Porter neighborhood.
Yes, I do need to get out now that I'm still learning my streets still. I'm learning everything.
Right.
And hearing the stories here, and especially the house we purchased, which was one of the original old homes here, General Atkins' home, the manor house, and we love that house. And my husband is doing a spectacular job, restoring it and helping it to just have another 100 years in front of it. We're working really hard on that house.
And the lighting's so beautiful. I was by there the other night. And I thought,
thank
It's
you.
like a movie set. It's gorgeous.
It is like
really
a movie
nice.
set. I go out there and click pictures all the time. And a lady that used to live there, she's just precious lady. And her little dog, she was posting something today on Facebook, and I was able to see like 8 or 9 years earlier that whole front yard with her little dog out in the snow and everything. There was my fence, and it was just, I'm like, oh, I love that house. But anyway, I say my house. I'm sorry, Kevin, it's our house. He's doing all the work. I'm the one enjoying it all.
You're being supportive. But,
Yeah.
we do have a lot of historic communities in Paris, and we've in the Atkins Porter neighborhood, which was named because we had Atkins Porter School there.
Yes. Is it the same Atkins of the Atkins that was in our home? Okay.
JDC Atkins.
Okay.
And so there was a real big eyesore building there that was some of the community members bought it. The city helped us raise it, and we've built this beautiful botanical garden. And I always tell people to come over. It's on Jackson Street, right? You pull up Jackson Street off Dunlap Street, and it's a great place just to have have your lunch or their fans. There's
I gotta know about that.
there's a great pavilion to sit under. We have our meetings there in the summertime. Kayla Nation from the library does story hour from there. Joan Howe from the Refuge, there's the Refuge again, comes in and does environmental education, really fun, cool stuff with the kids there. So
I did not know about this.
See?
This is really good.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yes. In fact, we've just gotten our new year scheduled together, so that'll be up on the website probably by the end of the week. We're doing our brochures for the new year. So we also do kayaking. We have neighborhood kayaking that's open to we should come.
It's so much fun.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
We go to different places. Somebody leads it, and they usually go to their favorite spot.
Can we use a canoe? We
It's
sold
free.
our kayak.
It's
we have
free.
2 canoes.
Parker and I have kayaks. We need to get in on this.
Get in on that water. I'm telling you, it's so much fun out there.
So relaxing.
Can I use my canoe if they're kayaking?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
If you can get it there, then
Okay.
that's the only thing.
And so you
We can get it
mentioned
there.
a website. What is the website?
The website is HAPNA.org, Historic Atkins Porter Neighborhood Association, HAPNA.org.
Gotcha.
We've just gotten the new
Historic
calendar
Atkins Porter.
done, so give us a couple of days to get it on the website.
And tell us what the Atkins Porter area is.
Yeah.
You were talking about that
yes.
earlier.
Still trying
So
to
it's a
figure it all out.
triangle, and it starts. Everything in Paris starts with a big fish, right?
Right.
You need to put that in that magazine
The,
and clarify it for us.
Okay. It starts at the Big Fish, and then the other corner is the post office downtown,
Oh, the
and
post
then the
office,
other
okay.
corner is, I always used to say the gas station there on the corner of Tyson and Wood, but now we can say Oak Lawn, right? We can say Oak Lawn.
Oak Lawn.
The new restaurant there at
Oh
that
my
tip.
gosh, can't
So
wait to
that's
try
it.
that.
That's it. Yeah, they were
Now,
busy.
could you please explain to me, how could it be Atkins Porter when my house is the Atkins house and it's not the Atkins house involved?
It was named for JDC Atkins and Governor Porter.
Oh, there you go.
The school was named for
JDC. Okay.
for them.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's where the dog park is.
That's where the
Have you
dog
been to
park
the dog
is.
park? Have you
I
seen
haven't
that?
been to the dog park.
Yeah.
No.
So great. It's
No.
And if I can just make a little plug here for Tony Lawrence and the city of Paris. We were talking about Eiffel Tower Park.
Yes.
That's Paris Parks and Rec.
Oh, it's awesome.
The dog park is Paris Parks and Rec.
Right.
And then that's right there by the gymnasium was the only thing left from the old school. But so there's fall ball in there. There's pickleball in there. There are there's a workout class several mornings a week there. So there's a lot going on in that little area. Yeah.
I did not know they did pickleball in there now at Atkins Porter.
It's fun.
That's neat.
Yeah,
And
we're
you
gonna
also
have
have
to-
a little pantry, right?
We have Hapna has a library, a
library.
free little library, and then our friend Manny McDevitt does the little pantry. That started out as a Boy Scout project for her son,
How
and
cute.
so that's a great.
Good for her.
And it's used a lot, and anybody is welcome. Don't feel like you got to live in the neighborhood. Anybody can bring books to the library. You can come get a book. Remember to bring a book back.
I am doing
And
that.
then,
getting right on it.
anybody can donate to that pantry,
Isn't that wonderful?
or any of the rest of them in town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good to know.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, what else are you wanting to share? I love it. This is great.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, she has so many talents.
I will say I heard you talking about blood, about your
Yes.
blood type, which
Yeah.
is really important.
It's very important.
And we were talking earlier that during COVID, blood donations were down so low, and they just have
Yes.
not bounced back.
No.
So if you're looking for a place, especially when I was in the flower business and on my feet all day, I used to say the best thing is blood donation day, because you get to go over there, lie down, and then when you leave, they give you a snack.
Or a movie ticket in Florida.
Or a
We
movie
used to do
ticket.
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Snack
I do
after
that.
you donate blood?
Actually, I'm on a little weight loss project myself now. So yeah, I get a snack, but I take it to a friend of mine who likes snacks.
Oh, that's nice.
But it's that is every at the Methodist Church, that comes the first Thursday of every month, and it's noon to 6. So be sure and visit them. They do a great job. They've been. I started giving blood in high school,
Yes,
and when they didn't even have a bus,
Right.
and that's how long that program's been
Yes,
been
I
in this
remember doing
town.
that as well.
Yeah, you got to cut class, you got to give blood. That's good. That's good. Good way to train kids to do nice things.
I had to do it on my way to work. I had a
Oh.
part-time, I went part-time in high school and then to work, but you could always go give blood.
Folks need to really think about that, and they do tell you your blood type.
Yes,
and
right
it-
away, you get your little card.
And my mother used to point out that it's a good little health check, because
It
you
is a
can,
good
they
health check.
they do your blood pressure.
Free.
They figure out if you got enough iron.
Right.
Do they check your sugar?
Iron
I don't think
blood.
they check your sugar. Could be wrong though.
I don't donate blood. I'm scared of needles.
You
It
work
doesn't-
with
it doesn't
teenagers
even
and their
hurt.
parents. How can you be?
It's so simple.
I'm not Superwoman.
Do you know
Can't
your
handle
blood
it.
type though?
I have it on a card from where I had my children. So it's somewhere in my medical record.
Yeah, exactly.
I was happier before you started telling those stories about A positive.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Is
I
that
know.
what you are?
That's what I am too, yeah. And it was so funny because when I had COVID, what do you think the first thing it is I get? A blood clot. But I had it in such a good place that my doctor said, this is the best place on the human body to get a blood clot. It was in my ankle.
Wow.
And so all I had to do was be on a little medicine for like I think 2 weeks, and he said, now go off and you're fine. So yeah, and I had been inactive because, as we all know, COVID makes us inactive. And I'm one of the unlucky ones who lost all my hair in COVID. I had hair down to here, and all of a sudden I had this real thin, stringy stuff, and I thought, where's my hair going? It was just, I would brush it and it would come out, and I'd be like, oh gosh. You know, it was so frightening. That is so frightening for a woman to go through.
That would break
oh my
my
gosh.
Yeah, right.
Either that or I'm extremely vain, one of the two, I don't know. But anyway, I had a real hard time with it. And it does come back. So anybody out there that did experience that, minoxidil and nioxin are your good friends. So get that, because you will get your hair back. It will come back.
Nice.
But and a lot of
to
people
know.
did lose their hair. But you know, when you're inactive, that's when you're going to get hit with that kind of thing. And I thought inactive meant, you know, maybe a month. No, inactive means a week to 2 weeks. That's inactive. Yes. So, you know, people who get up and go from a bed to a chair to watch TV or something and then to a desk, that's inactivity. You got to get out, you got to walk, you know. And I remember thinking years ago, I got my little chihuahuas so I would go out and walk. And I thought, well, they'll make me walk. They sure do. I got to chase them down the street if they get away. They make you do a lot more than walk. But it's so good to get out there and walk. But anyway, back to you.
Well, there's a lot to see in Paris.
Yes,
you know,
there's a lot to
see
in Paris.
And I walk downtown a lot.
Yes.
I've got a walking buddy, and we walk downtown a lot. We walk up Grove Hill. Just you know, if we go back to campus at UT, we can climb the hill.
Oh yeah, that's a good workout right there.
We went to the same school, but I think it was probably 25 years apart.
Well, when I got there was no bridge to the hill. Now they have a bridge. They don't have to climb up the stairs from the bottom anymore.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. No. My freshman year, there was just stairs, and then now there's a bridge.
And
I don't think it's fair.
Now
I don't
that
think
you're
it's
not
right.
there.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage to have to climb up those stairs.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit more about working with TVA.
Yes.
It's my dream job.
That's nice.
Yeah, I work with TVA Natural Resources. So TVA is divided into sort of, we call it the 3 E's, energy, and economic development, and the environment. So what our group does is a lot, I mean, there are a lot of things that go into that, but I write about a lot of the things that TVA does. So for example, a couple of, well, I guess a month ago now, I was in East Tennessee for an asset management run. We were out doing asset management in the middle of nowhere. But you don't think about, TVA has 293,000 acres of public land. So of course there are assets. Awesome. And you don't think about an asset being a fence or an asset being a gate. Okay. I mean, just, anything that helps work that. And of course, a lot of people don't think about hunting on TVA public land. And when we got there were a couple of older gentlemen out rabbit hunting. Oh, it was so great. They were having such a good time rabbit hunting. So we were up in near Jacksboro. So that was real interesting. But we also do a lot of, for example, prescribed burns. And that's something that's very needed because, of course, before we were all here cleaning the underbrush and having fire departments, a burn was nature's way of, kind of starting over. And so that's something that we do. And of course, it's amazing to watch the safety protocols on that. It's so safe, and it's just small areas. And so that's something that I think is fantastic that TVA does. But we also, we're like the aquatic life. We're very much into that, and we partner with a lot of schools and organizations to bring environmental education to their children, especially. Lots of STEM grants for teachers and schools.
Oh, wonderful.
Lots of on-site education things, like in the Little River, where children from, for example, the Boys and Girls Club might be there to learn about, these different fish. And the people that work there are so they're just so smart and they're so verbal, and they make everything so easy to learn.
Yeah, very dedicated.
Yeah, we just finished, in fact, probably a couple of months ago, 2 or 3 videos that school teachers can use with some of our folks. Some of our folks
that's wonderful.
using those. We had aquatic biologists doing that. So they don't have to be there. They can just run the video,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
we've got the lesson plan. So that's at tvakids.com, and that's on the tva.com website.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So, who is it that kind of inspired you as you were growing up to?
My parents never slowed down.
Your parents? Okay. Yeah.
I think my husband would have it otherwise. He can't talk because he never slows down either. But they were always continuously doing things. We were all very active in the church, and they were in the Parish Choral Society. My daddy worked, did Project Help with BPU. I mean, they were always doing things. Janus Delphian Club, and they give scholarships to students that wanted to do arts-related things in college. So I mean, it's just learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, but I just want to encourage everybody to get out there and pick somebody to partner with. And our little Atkins Porter neighborhood botanical garden would not be there but for folks that have grants, the Roundup grants, Athena Delphian Club grants, Helping Hand. I mean, everybody has really pitched in for that. So, get a dream and go make some friends.
Yeah, I love that.
Boy,
that is
this
so
is
true. There's
unreal.
so much to be involved in, so much to do, and even just volunteering at things that you see coming up in the community, things that are going on. Last year I started doing that a little bit and enjoyed it so much. Just thought I want to be intentional about being a part of the activities that are going on, and you get to meet new people, and like you said, partner with people. Who knows what's going to happen whenever you get involved in your community.
If you get a chance, volunteer with, there's different groups that do it, but go serve fish at the fish tent during fish fry sometime.
Yes,
that is a
I
blast.
love that.
Yeah. Where are you from? We're from, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Well, how'd you, it's the most amazing thing to see who comes to fish fry.
Oh,
Yes,
I know
it
it.
is.
It's amazing.
It's so good too.
Yeah,
Year after
it
year, and
is.
it's growing. Every year we have more people coming. It's amazing. I met so many people. I met your sister there. I met so many people there.
She likes to come down and volunteer at the fish tent too. She loves it.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at all that going on in about a month and a half. So
Oh my gosh, time
just
is
around the
flying.
corner.
Oh, I hope we'll get a float in that. Maybe Good Day Pears float.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So maybe people will, come along and help us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about you because I do color commentary with Mary Kate Ridgway for that with WTBR. So we'll woo woo when you come by.
All right, there we go.
We'll be having our mics and waving, and we'll have to get that wave down. That wave.
I never was a princess, so mine would be more like Minnie Pearl.
Hey y'all.
Howdy!
That would be us, both of us.
That's what people come to see. They don't come to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll entertain them with the wave.
That's right.
So yes, but thank you so much, both of you, for coming on. This has been so much fun. I hate to end it, actually. There's so much information here being shared. That's really valuable information, good stuff to know.
Well, we appreciate you all because
Well, thank you.
you provide a valuable
thank you.
service.
Yeah, and we've got up your, let's see, it says, I don't have my glasses on. Let me get my glasses on.
SusanJonesPR.com. That's right. There we go. We've got a phone number and an email address, it looks like. So
S.Jones at dot, is there a dot there? No.
At
at
sjpr.us.
Yeah, .us, okay.
Right.
Yes, so please
writing
reach
and
out to
marketing
her.
services.
Oh yeah, and your phone number is there and all. Writing and marketing services. Oh, writing and marketing. And I'm not kidding, I do need.
That's hard. I've been doing that. It's hard.
Yeah, I think that's so
It's
interesting
hard.
what you said, that you had a business What'd you call them?
She's a business strategist.
A business
Strategist.
How did you even find out about a business strategist?
Facebook targeted me with ads.
Oh, the algorithm
The algorithm got me. But I mean, it was accurate. It was exactly what I needed. Like, she was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And like, she pretty much teaches organic marketing, and so she's given me basically a crash course on marketing.
And you don't grow up knowing any of
No,
that. That's awesome.
none of
Right.
it. Like, it was all like another language. It was a whole different thing I had to learn.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for you that you figured out a
Thank you
job
so
that you
much.
can. I feel like I say this every show, but you have found a job where you can be a mom,
Yeah.
be with your children, have your schedule, and do what you went to school to do what you love. I mean, that's such a blessing.
It's awesome.
Way to go.
I am blessed.
Yes.
For sure.
We found a little, we can work up kin very easily in Paris,
yeah.
Tennessee. And my business partner, Andrew Wheatley, and you are way back kin.
I think so, yes. I want to say on my mama's side, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I hope you have just a smidgen of his IT prowess, because he is, I don't know what's in the
pretty
water.
good.
I don't know what's in the water in Big Sandy, at Big Sandy's high school, but y'all have got it going on out there.
That's good.
You get some smart cookies out of there for sure.
That's another beautiful area, the Big Sandy
It
area.
sure is.
Boy, this part of Tennessee is just like a God's country. You know, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Well, again, thank you guys for coming. This has been wonderful. Please tell your friends about us. We'd love for you to go on, like and share and subscribe.
Yeah.
So next week we have a lot of info about everything you've ever wanted to know about pickleball. I'm so excited about pickleball. I cannot wait. And so that's just part of what we've got coming. I just want to wet your whistles with it, and I hope you'll join us.
That's right.
Angie and I. And so thank you for being with us tonight, and I hope to see you again next week, same time, same place.
Yes. All right. And I'm looking forward to hearing about pickleball because we just started a small group last night. Well, we met our second time, and we talked about everybody going to play pickleball.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I
We
still
need to
haven't
get out
tried
there.
it, so I'm looking forward to it.
And it'll be, I think it's actually going to be down at the park, so we'll see.
All right.
I'm not going to give anything away.
Okay, that's right. Top secret.
Not saying anything else. Zip. So we'll see you again. Have a good week.
Yes, and a good day, Paris.
Yes.